Have you ever imagined that there's a secret hidden for decades in the words of St. John Paul II? A secret so powerful that it has saved thousands of marriages on the brink of collapse. What would you do if you discovered that the Pope who transformed the world also left behind a hidden spiritual key to restore relationships that everyone thought were beyond saving? One woman had divorce papers in hand, ready to sign, when she stumbled upon an old notebook containing words from John Paul II that completely changed the course of her marriage. What was written in that notebook? That's exactly what I'm going to reveal to you today. Today we're going to explore one of the most transformative spiritual treasures left behind by St. John Paul II, a profound biblical teaching that he applied in his counseling to couples in crisis, but that is rarely mentioned in modern Catholic circles. This isn't just another piece of marriage advice. It's a revelation based on divine wisdom that John Paul II extracted directly from sacred scripture and perfected throughout decades of ministry, an approach that has restored unions that seemed hopelessly broken. Before we continue, I want to invite you to put your name and where you're watching from in the comments. We're going to form a prayer chain for all marriages that are going through difficulties. Just months after Karol Wojtyła became Pope John Paul II, a Polish couple, longtime friends of the then Cardinal, traveled to Rome in desperation. After 15 years of marriage, Maria and Stefan were living like strangers under the same roof, constantly arguing and seriously considering separation. When Maria and Stefan arrived at the Vatican, they were received by the Pope in a private audience, something extraordinary considering the countless responsibilities of a newly elected pontiff. For 3 hours, they talked about the wounds, hurts, and disappointments they had accumulated over the years. At a crucial moment in the conversation, John Paul II took his personal Bible, marked with numerous notes in the margins. He opened to a specific passage he had studied deeply for years and shared with them what he called the hidden principle of sacrificial love. The couple returned to Poland with a new vision for their marriage. They applied the principle they had learned from the Holy Father daily. 3 months later, they wrote to the Pope reporting a transformation that seemed impossible. Their marriage had not only been saved, but was flourishing with a depth they had never experienced before. But after all, what was this powerful biblical secret that John Paul II used to transform marriages on the verge of collapse? The secret biblical principle that John Paul II applied consisted of 3 interconnected dimensions. First, the dimension of the total gift of self. John Paul II taught that marriage isn't a 50-50ths contract, but a 100-100ths gift. Each spouse is called to give themselves totally, without calculating the return. This principle is revolutionary because it goes against our natural tendency to measure and compare what we give with what we receive. Second, the dimension of communion of persons. John Paul II believed that marriage isn't just a partnership, but a true communion between 2 people who become one flesh. This communion transcends the physical and encompasses all dimensions of the human person: spiritual, emotional, intellectual. Third, and perhaps the most revolutionary, the dimension of conjugal prayer as an act of restoration. John Paul II taught a specific form of conjugal prayer that few know about, where spouses not only pray together, but pray for each other in a way that transforms the heart. If you're feeling that these words are deeply touching your heart, I'd like you to pause right now. Leave your name in the comments so we can pray specifically for your marriage or for the marriage of someone you love. And if you know someone who is going through a marital crisis, share this video with them. Sometimes God uses unexpected means to bring healing and restoration to our lives. Carlos and Mariana had been married for 22 years when he confessed to infidelity. The pain was so deep that Mariana couldn't even look at her husband. They had been separated for almost a year when a priest friend who had studied John Paul II's teachings shared with them this secret biblical principle. Mariana, despite her immense pain, decided to try this path. For 3 months, she practiced the 3 dimensions I mentioned daily. She prayed for Carlos's inner healing, offered forgiveness even when she didn't feel like it, and sought to see her husband as God saw him. Today, 3 years later, they're not only together but have a counseling ministry for couples in crisis. If you're facing difficulties in your marriage right now, I want you to know there's hope. Maybe your spouse isn't open to reconciliation. Maybe you've tried everything you knew until now. But this secret principle that John Paul II left us opens a new possibility. Start today. Apply these 3 dimensions of true love: the total gift gift of self, the pursuit of authentic communion, and transformative prayer. Don't expect immediate results, but persevere with faith, knowing you're following a path illuminated by the wisdom of a saint. And always remember the words that John Paul II frequently repeated to couples in crisis. It's not love that sustains your commitment, but your commitment that will sustain your love. I want to sincerely thank you for staying until the end of this video. If these words touched your heart, don't keep them to yourself. Share them with someone who might need this message of hope. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to receive more content like this. Leave in the comments your experience or questions about this biblical secret of St. John Paul II. May God bless your marriage, your family, and all homes that are going through difficulties, and may St. John Paul II intercede for all of us.